Okay, let's get going on 102 through 109. Here we go. Number 102. Mean of 3, 3, 4, and 6. Well, mean, just remember that that's the average. And the average is found by adding them all up and dividing by how many there are. In this case, I have 4 numbers, so if I add them all up, that's going to be 6 and 4 makes 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 3 more makes 16. I got 16 total, divided by how many there are. There's 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So the mean of this is 4. Add them all up, divide by how many there are. Next thing is the median. The median is where you find the middle of the group. First of all, you have to line it up from smallest to biggest. These are lined up from smallest to biggest. Then you basically can chop off the end ones until you get to the middle two. And if there are 2 in the middle, then you'd average them. If there weren't 2, if there's only 1 number in the middle, then that would be the middle number. All right, in this case, I have 2 numbers in the middle, so I average them, and the average of 3 and 4, add them together, divide by 2. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Probably could have done that in your head. So now again, median means the middle one. So if I had 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 7, 8, 12, and those are in order from smallest to biggest, I would find the middle one by just kind of going like this. Which one's in the middle? Which one's in the middle? Which one's in the middle? Oh, these 2 are in the middle. Because if I cross off 3 on each end, those are the 2 that are in the middle. So the middle of all of it is what's in between those 2. What's between 3 and 5? 4. So in this case, that middle number in this case would be 4. So how about mode? Mode is where you're looking for the one that happens the most often in your list. So I had 2 3s, which is more than anything else, and therefore the mode of this list is 3. Let's say it had been 3 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 7. Well, then these 2 are tied, and they can both be the mode. 3 and 4 can be the mode. Whichever has the most, or if there's a tie, then you say both of them. If there isn't any number that repeats, 3, 4, 5, and 9, let's say that was my list. If nothing repeats, then you'd say there's no mode. Okay, next up is range. The range is the biggest minus the smallest. Biggest here is 6, minus the smallest here is 3. 6 minus 3 would be 3. So the range of my data is 3. Next up, the outlier. The outlier is the one that kind of stands out from the other numbers. It sometimes helps you to take a look at it on a number line. If I have 3, 4, and I have one of those, a couple of those, and then I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20 is like way over there somewhere. It obviously stands out way apart from the other data, and so it's an outlier. So this is the outlier in this set of data. Now, if you get into statistics, they can tell you complicated ways of deciding that something's an outlier or not. Because obviously, if it gets close, or if it's like, well, what if it's only over here at 6? Is that an outlier or not? There are ways that you can tell specifically, exactly how far does it have to be from the others. But in this case, all I want you to know is it's one that's significantly smaller or significantly bigger than the other numbers in your group. Next, if outliers exist, then use blank, not blank. Outliers should be your key to be thinking about using the median. Because if, for instance, you had a neighborhood of people, and one of the people in the neighborhood was Bill Gates, and he made, $1 billion last year. And everybody else in the neighborhood might have only made like, $50,000. He's going to throw off the average a lot. So if you have an outlier like that, where one of the numbers is way bigger or way smaller than all the others, an outlier is a hint to not use the average because it'll throw off the average. So not the mean. Use the median, because the middle number doesn't get thrown off. If these are the people in that neighborhood, 50,000, another one makes 60,000, another one makes 30,000, and then there's Bill Gates who makes, 1 billion. So then he's going to obviously throw off that average a lot. But the middle would still be, of these 4, the middle one, I'd have to line them up from smallest to biggest, 30,000, 50,000, 60,000, and then my 1 billion. Our middle one is still, of these 4, right here. Even if this had been a a trillion or something, it's still, the middle one is still right between 50 and 60, so it'd be 55,000. So the median keeps you from being deceived by outliers. All right, moving on. This box and whisker has what median and what max. The median of the set of data is this number right that goes on that black line right in the middle. Okay, so in this case, it's kind of hard to tell, but I was assuming you'd think that that was about 5.5. The maximum on an outlier, this is the maximum. It's the end of the whisker. Okay, so in this case, it would be 7. So here's my answers. To tell you a little bit more, the minimum, or the smallest number here, would be the end of that whisker. Okay, so this goes from the smallest to the biggest, to that's the median. Well, what the heck are these two things? Those two things are called the upper quartile and the lower quartile. And basically, it divides the data into 4 parts. This is a fourth of the data. This is another fourth of the data. Obviously, this makes the halfway mark in the data. Here's another fourth of the data between these two. And this is the last fourth of the data between those two. So it divides it up into 4 parts where there's equal amounts of data in each part. So that's the basics of a box and whisker. Moving on, stem and leaf this one has what maximum? Well, this is meant to, a stem and leaf is meant to write a bunch of data in kind of a different way than you used to. The 2 like this means like 2 with a 0, so 20. And then on my list of data, the next number is another 20. And then this 2 with this 1 would mean 21. And then down here we have 31, 32, 32. You see what I'm doing here? 31, 32, 32. And then 43 and 47. So it'd be fair for me to ask you what the maximum number is. Well, it's the biggest one of all, so that'd be 47. I could have asked you what the minimum was, and it would have been 20. I could have asked you what the median was, and then you'd have had to list these out from smallest to biggest and find the one in the middle. So I'd cross off the 3 on this end and the 3 on this end, and it would be the one that's between these two. So it would be 31.5 if I'd asked you what the middle number was. So you just mainly have to understand what a stem and leaf is doing. All right, that's it for this section.